Hi, this is Viridian, and this is going to be the first in what I hope is a long series of video blogs where you don't actually have to see my ugly face. Instead, I'm going to talk about a game from the past that influenced game development beyond it, and basically I'm just going to tell you why it was cool and how it influenced game development. And in this case, we're going to be talking about Populous by Peter Molyneux. This was the game that made him famous. It was the first God game. Now, it was called a God game because you technically play a god, but anyone who plays Populous nowadays will recognize it for what it really is, which is a real-time strategy game, one of the first. In Populous, you have an economy, and you have enemy units, an enemy god with enemy villagers, with an enemy economy whom you must defeat, and you do that by creating military units. There are some kinks, though. I don't think I've ever seen another game do things quite like Populous does. We're going to show you what exactly is unique about it here in just a minute. All right, you'll notice that we start by raising and lowering our own land, flattening it out so that our people grow. When you raise and lower land, you temporarily dispossess the people who are living there. But once you get the land flattened out, they build much bigger houses and grow much faster. And you need that growth because you need more mana. You must have more mana than your opponent or you are going to lose this game. Rocks and trees, if you'll see here, the only way to get rid of them is to drop them in the water by lowering all the land around them to water level. Then you can raise the land back up, flatten it out, and everybody's happy. That skull thing that you see there is the enemy's totem. Basically, he can move that practically anywhere and attract his villagers to it. He can only move it if he has someone pick it up. That person will then become his leader. And right now, his totem is on our side of the board, which is not good for us. There isn't anything that we can do about his totem. Of course, we can do the same thing with our totem, and there's our totem right there. Now, I've just created my first military unit. It's a knight. Knights, again, are not directly controlled. You don't directly control your economy, and you don't directly control your military units in this game. What you do is create flat land for your villagers to expand on, and then you create your knight. And once you create your knight, he automatically goes and destroys enemy villagers. As you're about to see, here he goes. And since he's much more powerful than just a regular villager, he's going to wreak a path of destruction through here. Now, you can augment that with your god powers. If you'll see the orange or gold, I guess it's supposed to be gold bar, up in the upper right-hand corner, that's your bar of god powers. These are not the icons that you actually click. This is instead your mana bar. The actual icons that you click are in the lower left. But you'll see that they have the same symbols as your mana bar. If the little arrow is above, or rather in this case below, the symbol, then you have enough mana to cast it. This was simply the tutorial mission, so I don't actually have access to all of the cool features, like the volcano and things like that. So you'll just have to live with me using the most basic tools to win this scenario. And there goes my little knight. He's killing more people. Please, please have mercy. Never. My God demands sacrifice. Another interesting thing about this game is that when two walkers, which are the little people, meet each other. If they're of the same type, then they combine into one walker who is more powerful. If they are of the different types, then they fight, and the more powerful one automatically wins. Thus, you can make a very powerful knight by calling everybody to your Ankh first, before you create a knight. You call all your guys to the Ankh. That creates one single super powerful walker. You then turn him into a knight, and he just wreaks havoc on the enemy. And doing this and continuing to mess the enemy up with your god powers is how you win this game. Now, the thing about this game is, now that we've talked about how cool it is, let's talk about its problems. One of the first problems, okay, I think I'm about to use earthquake here. Yes, oh no, other buildings collapsed. Ah! One of the problems with this game is the fact that once you start losing, it's practically impossible to make a comeback. It really is. Once your enemy has enough mana to start messing up your backfield, you'll spend all your time and all your mana fixing what he's doing, in which case you're not messing him up, in which case he's got even more mana to wreak even more havoc on you. This didn't prevent people from, playing this game obsessively multiplayer over and over and over again. The other problem is that, honestly, you can look at this and tell that whoever came up with the layout was graphically inclined, but not that much of a GUI expert. The layout of this game is actually pretty poor, and it makes it kind of hard to actually play it. People playing this game nowadays probably would complain about the GUI layout. But still a great game. Still, okay, I just pointed at the two graphs. That's how you determine if you're winning or not. The two graphs in the upper right-hand corner next to the shield show, the blue bar and the red bar, show how you are doing in relation to your opponent. Needless to say, I am kicking his patootie. I just created another knight, which is about to go wreak even more havoc on him. I just put another earthquake on him. There really isn't anything he can do. If you look at the map in the upper left-hand corner, the mini-map, you can see that I'm spreading. My little white dots are all over the place, and his red dots are definitely getting kind of cramped in the corner there. I would like to point out that every world of Populous was a 64 by 64 grid. This appeals to me because there are lots of other games that were based on that same grid size, including Ultima 3, one of my favorite old RPGs, and a game that I will hopefully do a vlog about this in the future. I appear to be lowering land here specifically to get my villagers out of their houses. This was another bad thing about the original Populous, was that if you had a bunch of villagers but they were all in their houses, there wasn't really a way to get them out to travel to your Ankh to become more powerful so you can turn them into knights. Populous 2 added the concept of sprogging, which allowed you to click on a building to force a unit out of the building. But in this game, the only way to do it was to mess up your people's houses by raising and lowering land. And my knights are still wreaking destruction. I really think that I should be winning here in just a minute. This may seem kind of strange, but this game actually generated a whole lot of controversy when it came out, simply because it explicitly cast you in the role of a god. There are lots of games before this one that gave you god-style power over, your units and things, but they never actually said you're a god. I don't think Molyneux had any intention of generating any sort of controversy, but of course it was good for the game. And it looks like I'm working up to create another super powerful knight, working on the final push here. The red dots are definitely getting more scattered. I don't think well, this is the tutorial, so it's supposed to be easy, but I don't think the red, yet another earthquake, I don't think the red side ever really had a chance against me here. Now, how did this game influence games that came after it? Well, it influenced them a whole lot. Like I said, anyone playing this game nowadays will recognize it for what it is, which is a real-time strategy game, even though it plays very differently from practically any other RTS like Command & Conquer or Dune 2 that you might have seen. But that's what it is. It's got an economy, it's got military units, and your job is to wipe out the enemy, like in just about any other RTS. And if I had just turned on the other god powers, I could cast Volcano at this point, which is awesome, but I didn't, so sorry. Populous was released back in 1989, originally for the Amiga computer. Oddly enough, SimCity was also released in 1989, so you can just imagine that these two games gave a huge boost to the genre of games that effectively use the mouse cursor to give you a god hand into a world. And now we've got tons of them. They became a genre unto themselves. Hope you enjoyed that. This is Viridian, signing off. Bye.